Hello, friends. Good morning and welcome to this show. This is a management live discussion, and this is being streamed live across all social media. You can interact with me by sending your chat messages, and your messages will get displayed, and we can have an interaction using the chat function of the social media. So, today in our program, what is that we are going to discuss? We are discussing some of the powerful words starting with alphabet L. And well, we know these words, these are not new. But I think in today's interactive show, we will try and understand the true meaning behind these powerful words, and how we can understand the true meaning and implement that in our real life, in our business, to make our personality better and also to make our company better. So let's move ahead on our discussion, on our journey down the dictionary lane, understanding these powerful words. Well, the first word on our list today is life. Life is starting with L. Very powerful word. Life actually means, you are full of life, full of energy. So suppose you are a leader, and if you look like very lifeless person, you don't look like, as if you're very lethargic and don't show any enthusiasm. So it sends a wrong signals to your team. So as a leader, as a CEO of your organization, or any thought leader on the internet, you have to look very lively. And even though this is a very simple word, but remember, friends, this is something very, very good if you are actually living a life which is very, very, very energetic. So I think the true meaning behind life, especially for leaders and for CEOs, is to basically show that energy, show the vibrancy that they have to their team, and don't show, hey, I'm not interested in your work, etc. So the first thing that we want to discuss today, a power word starting with L, is life. And if we move on to the next word, by the way, friends, as you can see, your chat messages will display here on my screen, and I can take up your comment or any question, any suggestion that you have, since we are live on all social media platforms. So next word is liberty. Liberty, again, a very powerful word starting with alphabet L. Now, how does it help you as a leader? Well, you have to be liberal in your team. You have to give your team members some time to understand the problem statement and to articulate it in a proper way, the way they want to articulate it to you, or while seeking advice from you. You have to give them liberty in terms of, say for example, some people say that, in my office I have an open door policy. Open door policy is nothing but liberty. So like that, you may have to give liberty to your team so that they can apply themselves and come up with a solution themselves, and probably discuss with you that they have found this solution. They should be, they should not feel threatened, because you are giving them liberty that you are approachable. You can visit your office anytime and ask your advice or inform you about some good news or bad news. So liberty cuts across the entire spectrum of good, bad, and ugly. Liberty is that, whatever the case may be, your team should feel free to come back to you, to take your advice, or to give you a good news or a bad news. So I think as a leader, this is a very powerful word, and believe it or not, if you do not provide liberty to your team member, after some time the team member will not get a lot of enthusiasm in work. So if they get involved in your company's activity, day-to-day activity, they should also feel that I have some freedom, I have an elbow room, leg room to do my work, and also to take decisions on the fly. So even decision making, there has to be liberty to take decisions. So you have to take some decisions yourself. You can say that, okay, such decisions will be taken by me, but rest of the decisions you can ask your team member to take based on whatever their thought process is. And this is also related to empowerment. So liberty is directly related to empowerment, and that is why it's a very powerful word starting with alphabet L. Learning, very very important. Well, as people say that learning is something for which there is no age. Learning can happen at any age. Even if you are 70 years old, today 70-year-old people are learning how to use apps on mobile phone. So the learning should never stop. Learning is something which should continue lifelong. So what is so important in learning? Everybody knows what is learning. It's, that's what we do every day. What is more important is that you should have a childlike ability to childlike curiosity to learn things. If you do not have curiosity, you will never put yourself into a learning as a learner. So therefore, even if you are a very experienced person, if you are a very senior CEO of a company, and if you are not learning new things, that is the end of story. You will not last for very long. After a couple of years, you will become obsolete. So therefore, if you have childlike curiosity along with adult-like understanding of that learning, if you do not have learning, you will not be able to implement. So therefore, you should always have this attitude of learning. Now, if you are a CEO or a leader, you must also inculcate these good habits into your team. And that is why some companies are very very particular about periodic learning calendars. So there are facilities available to the team members, to the employees of the company, to allow them to learn new things, whether that new chapter or new skill is related to their activity or for future activity. That is up to them. But learning is something which is very very important for success of a team and also success of a company. Love. Well, love is very simple word. We use it every day, maybe 3 to 4 times in a day. But do you really love? That is the moot question. Love is something which starts with first loving yourself. You must have a love towards yourself. That means you take care of yourself, you dress up nicely, you walk smartly, you present a picture around people who are around you, that you are well dressed, well groomed person. And that is why the love starts first with yourself. And then love also has a rub-off effect on your team. So if you dress up nicely and you dress up very smartly for the day, your team will basically take you as a role model and also start following you. Say for example, if you love your work, now you love yourself, now you have to love the other things in life. So if you love your work, you reach your workplace on time, or somewhat before time. If you're arriving on time, your team will basically respect you and then start following your footsteps. They will also start loving the workplace. They will also start loving the environment that you have created. So love yourself first. Then love doesn't mean that you have to have an intimate relationship with any other person. It also means that, but the way I would like to explain this whole aspect in management is that you have to love your team. You have to love and respect. If you do not love them, if you do not respect them, you will never trust them. So love will lead to lot of activities like respect and trust also. So that is where it starts, and that is why love is such a powerful word starting with alphabet L. And I thought I will talk about it today in detail. If you have any suggestions or any comment, you can send the message. And if you're watching me from whichever part of the world and from whichever part of the social media, these messages will get displayed here on the screen and I will answer you immediately. Laugh. Very powerful word, laugh. That means in your team, in your environment, in your company, there is a environment of gaiety. So we have love and laughter. So we actually work together as a team. We laugh on success, and we also analyze if there are failures. We do not laugh on our failures. That's a wrong thing to do. But then the feeling of happiness should be all around. People in the team must feel that they are liked by everyone. There is no confusion between them, and they also enjoy. So laugh doesn't mean that you have to all the time keep laughing. That is sort of a madness. But you have to keep enjoying your work. You have to keep enjoying the togetherness of your team. You have to have you have to keep enjoying the respect that you provide to others and others provide to you. And that is why the feeling of joy, feeling of laughter should be there in a team every day. People should love to work at your workplace. They should they should come prepared with a very happy mind to the workplace. And that is why environment of joy and gaiety is very important. There are various tools available for enabling that. Maybe you can ask one of the team members to write a positive statement outside the office, so everybody who comes in the office can actually get some good feeling before they enter the office. So there are other things like that. You can put candy on the table. You can have some sort of games in the office. You can have a coffee machine. So small things like this can have a lot of impact. In fact, I will tell you that if you have a first 10 minutes stand-up meeting just to discuss what people faced during while they were coming to the office, just 10 minutes chit chat before the work starts, that will be a very good activity for any CEO or any leader to start the day for their team and for themselves. And that creates a lot of normalization, because people, when they are traveling to work, they may experience certain things. All that gets nullified because now you're resetting the mind of every employee on a stand-up meeting, discussing things, maybe having a cup of coffee, all of them together. And now from that point onwards, you are giving two messages. One, that you love your team, you respect them, and you are also making sure that everybody is happy. Now the work can start. And then by doing all these things, you develop a feeling of loyalty. Very important. If you talk to any old style businessman today, they say that the most important character that they are looking for in their employee is loyalty. Whether you are honest and loyal is something that they analyze you. Today we have HR functions to do that. There are various different forms to determine whether the person is loyal, background checks, etc. But I think these are all superficial. Loyalty must come from within. And very powerful word starting with L, being loyalty. So I think the first thing starts at you. If you're the leader and you're the CEO of your company, you have to be loyal to your company. You should always do what you say. So as the English saying is that you should never preach, and if you preach, you must practice. That is what the loyalty is all about. You must start by implementing loyalty, starting with you, and then you spread that feeling of loyalty to your team member, and this whole feeling of loyalty will then percolate downwards in your pyramid. And people who are loyal, if everybody is loyal, the company is a very cohesive, very a group which is very strong, and they work together. It's like going into the ocean in a submarine, and if there are 100 sailors in a submarine, each one has a task to do, and if he doesn't do that task, all 100 people are at risk. So something like that, the loyalty and togetherness, respect and empowerment, they all are very powerful management words which you may be aware, you may not be aware, you may start thinking about it, or you're already doing it. I thought I will share about these things today on a live session so that we can have some sort of interaction. So imagine if you're creating an environment of loyalty within your organization, you know what profound impact that will have on your team members and your employees in the company. Whichever role they are doing, even if they are doing a front office role, they must feel loyal and they must feel valued for their work. And if they are valued for their work, they will be loyal. So like this, you know, the whole system works in that manner. And that is why the most important management lesson that I would like to give today is listening. Very powerful word starting with L, listen. So communication is not talking. Communication is listening. And there is a lot of difference between listening and hearing. So if you keep hearing things, you know, like that, you will not be able to, you just hear it from here this year and, you know, forget about some time. But listening is basically hearing and understanding the real issues. So communication cannot be only talking. It has to be talking and listening, and talking and listening in that fashion. So listening is again very important. Many people don't listen because they only like to say that, hey, many dictators, you know why people don't like dictators? Because they only dictate. They don't listen a sane voice. And that is why running your company or your team with a stick, that means my way or highway, is not going to fly, especially today, which is post pandemic. A lot of listening has to be done. In fact, now people are saying that everybody in the team must behave like a CEO. CEO has a work cut out, but even a manager must behave like a CEO. So you must have a multiple CEO scenario in thought process, not in the designation, and that requires a lot of listening. The CEO culture is not about talking, it's about listening. And that is why listen is a very powerful, very powerful word. And if you have any opinion on this word alone, I will be very happy to engage with you even now live or in future. So you can send in your comments. And this is let me repeat, this is the most important aspect of running a team or running a company of yourself. Now, lucidity. Lucidity is a difficult word, and we don't use it in day-to-day life. There are easier words to explain this, but lucidity is something which is taking the right decision. So you are the leader, your team members are looking towards you to take the right decision. And that is why you're the leader. If you cannot take the right decision, you cannot add value to your team member. The problem is that the team member will not look up to you, because if you say that, you give me the solution because you're the team member, that is not the way how it works. So while you're the leader of the team and you're the CEO of the company, your role is basically to take the right decision. And to do that, you have to listen, you have to respect, you have to empower, and you have to do all of these things that we have discussed so far today, and also previously in the previous series in other videos also. So that will all help you to take the right decision, and right decision will take you higher, and wrong decision will bring you down. And that is why, think about it, friends. This is a powerful word starting with L. Very critical, very important. The expectation of your team will be to take the right decision. And if they come if they come to you with a problem, you may like to offer the right solution to them. And for that, you need a lot of other attributes like that we have discussed so far in this series. And if you're able to do all this, you will be able to lead the organization correctly and always up and forward. You don't want to lead the organization down and below. You always want to lead the organization and up and forward. So every day you're taking them ahead. And that is why lead is again very powerful word. But what does the lead means? Leader can be just a leader. I'm a technical leader, I'm a business leader. It doesn't mean anything. These words leader doesn't mean anything. You have to become a leader. Let's say, for example, if your team is going into a raft and you're trying to cross a river, and on the raft there are 10 people. Five of them can swim, and five of them cannot swim. But the success of the team will be all five crosses the river successfully. Well, the leader will jump into the water, and because they can swim, they don't want to endanger the raft, because they don't want to make sure they want to make sure that the raft is not overloaded. So since they can swim, they can actually start pushing and swimming outside, so that the other people who cannot swim uh, will be safe, and they will also be able to cross the river. So these are the things. Leader is something who is able to take the decision. It doesn't mean your designation. It actually means the leading from the front, literally. And that is the powerful meaning of this particular word, uh, starting with L. Very important. We must try and inculcate the uh, true nature of a leader within ourselves. For instance, there may be some people who will come, and even though they are very senior, like a vice president or even owner of the company, will come to you and say that, hey, tell me the way forward. What impression that person is going to leave. That is going to spoil his impression. When the senior person or the leader is asking his junior for what is the way ahead, then junior can become a leader. You don't need a senior person to lead the team, because if this person is leading, then it will not lead in the right direction. That is why it is important to inculcate the right values if you want to be a leader, and that therefore lead is not just a word, it's a nature. You have to inculcate the nature of becoming a leader, and a leader has a lot of responsibility. They have to learn a lot of things, they have to know a lot of things, they have to be taking the right decision. They don't want to endanger anyone by taking a decision. They are not sacrificing anyone, they are not giving undue advantage to anyone. There are a lot of these things which are determined by this simple word called lead. So we have come to the end of our discussion today, the power word starting with L. And I will be meeting you next Wednesday, next week, same time, again with another session on the power words. You can send in your comments, and I will respond to each and every comment of yours, or any suggestions that you might have. So as always, thanks for watching, and I will meet you in the next one. Bye bye for today. not feel especially for leaders and for CEOs, is to basically show that energy. So it sends a wrong signals to your team. So as a leader, as a CEO, good morning.